Hi, welcome to the second part of my Better Path series with me, Niftyrat. In this episode, we'll be looking at a bunch of different block palettes from which you can start to make your paths and give you ideas on how to make your own designs. Our first path style we're going to look at is one that is very basic but works really well, and that is using stripped wood and planks. So if we take some spruce wood and look for some stripped spruce logs, you can also mix in some stripped spruce wood if you want to. And what we're going to do, I'm going to use the spruce wood as our main pattern. Just put it down like this in a random manner, and then intersperse some of the planks in amongst our spruce wood. And you can see it gives a nice contrasting colour for us to use. And you can put the odd spruce log just in there, and you can see because they're directional, you can either have them all pointing in one direction, or you can mix and match it up so they go in different directions depending upon how you want your individual path to look. You can see how it comes together to give you that sort of organic path, and you can see the directional blocks here. So we've got them going that way, and then we've got one going that way, and you can do that in a pattern if you wanted to. This works with any wood. We've used spruce in this case, but you could just as easily have done oak, whether that be the dark oak or the light oak, depending upon your build. For our next path style, we're going to start mixing in some andesite, and I'm just going to take plain andesite, but you could mix in some polished if you wanted to. And we're going to take some stone and some stone bricks, and I'm going to use stone as the base for this, but this works just as well if you use andesite as the base, and then stone and stone brick as the accent block. You could just as easily fill it all up with stone and then take the blocks out, or you can do what I've done here. I think we need a bit more of the stone brick and that's our second path design put in, and you can just get a feel for how much you want to weight in your different blocks. But here you get the different likes, and you can always, one thing I've seen done, I'm not a huge fan, I'll admit, but I've seen it done quite a bit by content creators, is dropping in a button to act as like a stone. Not something I personally like. Our third path style we're going to look at is one made of granite and polished granite and bricks. What we're going to do, we're going to use the standard granite. A couple of ways you could do it. Just place a box randomly, or do it like this and then just knock out the random bits where you want them. And a lot of it comes down to personal preference. Just mix in some of these in like so. We've got a couple here that we hadn't filled in, and it made with brick granite and polished granite. This very commonly used for builds inside a city. So where I want to show like an example of a path that's perhaps wearing a little, and you can also do it the other way around and go and put in more polished granite and then use the standard granite as an accent block if you want to create a more futuristic paved look as opposed to an older worldy look. See how you do it a slightly different way. For our next path type, we're going to look at a very common medieval style path, and that's one based around cobblestone. So we can get some cobblestone, we're going to get some cobblestone, some mossy cobble, and then we're going to get an accent block. Now you could use cobbled deep slate. One of the ones I've been using recently is basalt, something different. If we pop in our main path box, then we'll pop in some nice mossy cobble. It works well if you've got water around, especially. It works nicely in order to give you that impression of a more damp area. Now to place the basalt, if you just place it like that, you get it side on. I want it top down, so you get like a darker cobble, and you have to literally be looking straight down. You can see you get a path, and you can either do it randomly or you can do it based on where buildings are, give an impression of shaded areas. Don't forget, if you were creating this path real, it wouldn't be straight, and you'd have like walls and stuff at the side. And if you want to know how to do that, check out our video 1 that we did that talked about the layout of the paths. And for our next path, staring at me, we're going to use one of my absolute favourite build styles, and that is Blackstone. We're going to use Blackstone, use some polished Blackstone brick and some cracked polished Blackstone bricks. But I'm also going to take some gilded Blackstone to show you how you could build that in if you had an excess of it. Pop these in, and it's effectively similar to the cobblestone in terms of its overall impression it gives. And then mix in some polished Blackstone bricks in and the cracked polished Blackstones, then place it a bit more randomly. And there you have it, a mixed Blackstone path, ideal for, you know, a temple build or a city, perhaps that's a more dark city. Works really nicely. But if you want to really glam it up, the gilded Blackstone works lovely. As you can see, it really brings out, and if you can imagine putting some walls around it, would look really nicely. Our next path palette is going to be one that's going to need some prep around it. We're going to use Mycelium. So you've got to go and collect the Mycelium. We're going to mix it in some dead coral, and you can take your pick of which one you use. I'm going to use the bubble coral. I'm going to mix some coarse dirt in. We use coarse dirt because coarse dirt cannot be converted by the Mycelium. Put in our Mycelium's going to be our base, and we're going to mix in coral block and then the coarse dirt. So it has to be coarse dirt in order to avoid the Mycelium will start converting grass around it into Mycelium itself. And there we have our coarse dirt Mycelium path, and I really like this. I like the grey colour of it. It's really nice. The final path design we're going to use is a block that lots of people sort of criticise, but I quite like it, so I use it in paths all the time, and that is humble diorite. And I like to do the polished diorite to act effectively like a slab in the real world, a path block. And we're just going to mix in the rougher diorite. This is actually only a 2 path block, and I like it. I know it would not be everybody's cup of tea, but it's one I like a lot. If you want to mix it up, another option would be to mix in some stair blocks. Gives you a nice 3D feel. If you want a more rough 3D feel, that would be one way to it, would be to mix in some stair block. Yeah, as I saw earlier with the other one, people put stones in, give it that 3D. Some people put the stair blocks in. So I don't use a lot of the 3D effect as much, but that's personal preference. I quite like the more flat, and I like the 3D to come from the terrain. We're doing this here on a flat surface. But if we were building paths over here, it would go up and around the terrain, and that gives it the organic 3D feel without me having to put in stair blocks in. I generally, as you can see, go for a block palette of 3 blocks generally to form paths. Now this one's 2, but most of them are 3. Paths form an integral part of your Minecraft build. If you don't start doing this sort of path, or if you just use a generic path, I always think it makes your build look incomplete. You get then just a collection of buildings that are sort of been placed in. For me, the path brings together and gives a life to your build. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and it gives you some great ideas on paths to do in your own builds. And hopefully I'll see you again another time. If you have found this useful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment. It helps the channel out immensely. I do really appreciate it. All comments do get read. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye!